as a seasoned movie critic and someone who has seen more films than I can count, I must admit that small things like these left a profound impact on me. The film's storyline is beautifully crafted, and the performances are top-notch. But it was the message that truly resonated with me. The following article contains spoilers for the conclusion of the film. Small things like these is both touching and distressing, based on the historical fiction novel by Claire Keegan. Cillian Murphy's new movie finds him playing coal miner Bill Furlong, a silent, gentle man plagued by insomnia who has a wife and 5 daughters. In one of his finest performances, Small Things Like These follows Bill as his life takes an unexpected turn when he discovers a Magdalene laundry facility hidden within a convent that mistreats girls who can't save him. He then sets out on a mission to offer assistance. In the story, Small Things Like These, Bill finds himself entangled in Sarah's predicament and makes efforts to safeguard her from the morally questionable Mother Mary. Sarah subtly intimidates and offers Bill incentives to remain silent about what he has witnessed. Rumors swirl throughout town regarding Bill's connection with Mother Mary, and various characters advise him to keep quiet. However, as the story unfolds, Bill's sense of right and wrong prevails, leading to an ending that guarantees Sarah a brighter tomorrow. Why Bill returns to save Sarah in Small Things Like These is ending. He needed to do something because she was robbed of choice. The first time Bill encounters Sarah, the nuns at the convent coerce her into confessing that certain girls within the convent abandoned her in a shed following a game of hide and seek, which contradicts the evident fact that the nuns are punishing Sarah by making her sleep in the shed due to her out-of-wedlock pregnancy. And upon entering to address the matter with Mother Mary, it's obvious that Sarah is terrified of her. Similarly, Bill appears apprehensive around Mother Mary as well. In spite of this tension, Bill eventually extends a hand of help to one of the girls and ultimately assists Sarah too. Throughout the movie, Bill finds himself seeking a way forward after learning about the mistreatment at the laundry house, despite his difficulty in figuring out how to assist. However, Bill's inherent compassion eventually leads him to demonstrate the moral fortitude he had been yearning for throughout the film. This selfless act of kindness is exactly what brings relief and hope to both Bill and Sarah. In the film, it's clear that Bill grew up with a servant mother who worked for a wealthy woman. Since she had limited resources, he often felt frustrated by her lack of options. And when his mother passed away tragically, he was filled with guilt and never managed to forgive himself for her death. This past burden significantly influenced Bill's strong urge to assist in the story. What Bill's saving Sarah means for his family. They will likely be ostracized and outcasted it was evident that the town wouldn't approve of Bill's actions. Given their reactions shown at the end of the film, his family, including his wife Eileen, might be taken aback by his decision, as they're likely to disapprove, especially since they weren't part of the decision-making process. Mother Mary had hinted at her power before influencing Bill, mentioning the challenges girls face in getting into the church's school and asking about his daughters. This pressure from Mrs. Kehoe and others in town also contributed to Bill's silence. As Bill and Sarah return to town over the bridge, people they pass by have striking eyes, yet Bill aids Sarah, who seems to be in distress, guiding her towards his residence. Upon reaching home, he comforts Sarah and guarantees her safety before introducing her to his family. Meanwhile, others were engaged elsewhere when Bill and Sarah arrived. The room suddenly falls quiet, and then the screen fades to black.
Mm-hmm.
The stunned expressions of those present could be palpably sensed through the screen. Was Bill responsible for exposing the Magdalene laundry scandal? No one else was going to help those girls. As the narrative unfolds, Bill Furlong is revealed as a character who carries a heavy emotional burden. He grapples with his turbulent past, particularly the tragic demise of his mother during his youth. The weight of this burden upon Bill escalates throughout the story. Initially, he observes a troubled girl entering the asylum, then engages with the mistreated females within its walls, and then eventually, when Bill encounters Sarah, the growing sense of responsibility within him translates into action. The influence of the convent silences people on this matter, whereas some argue that the troubled girls in the Magdalene laundry home are not their concern. However, Bill's compassionate nature motivates him to carry out small acts of goodness that others might find questionable, or boring. What sets him apart is his understanding that he's doing what's morally right.
What happened to the convent after small things like these?
Based on the true history, the story is based on the convent would eventually shut down. The sudden conclusion of small things like these leaves us unable to witness the consequences of Bill's choice to rescue Sarah. And instead, the screen goes dark with an acknowledgement honoring all the victims and survivors of the Irish Magdalene laundry institutions from the beginning of the 1900s until the 1990s. That was asylums that were considered asylums, and small things like these were at the center of investigations, compensations, and controversy. Eventually, the Irish government closed these facilities down, and in 1993, a mass grave containing women from one such laundry was uncovered through. In relation to the movie, Bill's rescue of Sarah might provoke some opposition, even among the hesitant Catholic community of New Ross, Ireland. It's possible that this incident would spark debates on a national scale, causing controversy and polarizing opinions about religion and Catholics in Ireland. Eventually, due to the scandal, the convent may be compelled to close down within the next decade, the government is likely to play a role in this closure. The real meaning of small things like these get involved if something feels wrong. Tiny acts of courage, the abrupt, puzzling conclusion implies that Bill's feelings towards the consequences of his actions are indifferent. What truly mattered to him was doing what was right, rescuing Sarah. This act served as his redemption and the last step in Bill's self-forgiveness for his younger self, who had been deeply affected by his mother's demise. Once Bill conquered his past traumas, he could save Sarah without fear. In the narrative titled, we learned that despite his troubled past and persistent insomnia, Bill Furlong consistently carries out small acts of kindness. This quiet determination eventually unfolds into a monumental act of compassion that stirs up reactions across New Ross, Ireland. In essence, the story underscores the idea that even under difficult circumstances, individuals possess the capacity to perform extraordinary acts of kindness, even with minimal resources available.